All right, we back. Season 2, episode 1 of Untold Sports Stories. Got my man Keith Joseph on. My man grew up with in Lompoc. What's up, Keith?
What's going on? What's going on, Big J?
Chilling, bro. Chilling, surviving. Keith, like I said, coming from Lompoc. Me and him grew up in the same town, and he is one of the black leaders of Lompoc, is what I like to call him, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But Keith, why don't you tell the folks a little something about you, man?
Hey, well, from Lompoc, California. I grew up here majority of my life. My parents are actually from the South. My mom's from Tennessee, and dad's from Texas. I moved to Texas in like third grade. Came back sixth grade. So going into my seventh grade year, I was back in Lompoc. And kind of been here ever since. Had a couple of detours after graduation to LA and Fresno for football. Decided to finally give that up because of injuries and just been working and trying to be an adult and, just trying to live life.
I feel that 1,000. Talk about your background into sports. When did that get
Uh, Man, that's from the jump. You don't even get the pick. Your dad or whatever, uncle, they just throw that ball to you. It just kind of gravitates to you.
right?
So I don't even remember saying I wanted to play football. It's like, you playing. And just played football, basketball my whole life pretty much. And then Little League Lompoc, had a couple of years in Texas for Lompoc basketball and football. And went to Cabrillo High my first 2 years. Played football. My freshman year was the only year in high school I got to play track, football, and basketball. My sophomore year, I injured my knee dislocation. Ended up having to get surgery, and honestly, I probably was never the same after that. Then didn't get to play basketball or track that year. Then I ended up going to Lompoc my junior year. Kind of was still, I could tell I wasn't there physically like I used to be, but I was, I could play and play with Lompoc. We won CIF my junior year. I actually got hurt in my first CIF playoff game, dislocated my knee again, missed the whole playoffs, and then came again, couldn't play basketball or track because of my knee injury. And senior year, try to come back healthy best I can. I hurt myself in spring practice, and I just was never 100%. My senior year, I probably did therapy like majority of my my high school. Like those whole 2 years, I was in therapy, trying to get my knee right. Then my senior night, kind of a freak accident. Someone fell on my knee while I had it bent, engaging a blocker, and I just knew it was over after that, and just missed basketball and track again, and kind of just, man, it was a lot of mental. It's just like, damn, like, man, what do I do? Like, I played football from 8th grade to freshman year, no injuries, nothing, little tic-tacs, but nothing crazy. And my sophomore year was the last game of the season I got hurt, and it was like the third quarter. So it was like, if I had just got through that game, maybe none of this would have ever happened.
Yeah, man.
And I ended up going at LA Pierce for a little bit, was working out with them. End up they told me to redshirt because my knee was still trying to recover. I ended up having to get a knee injection for cortisone because my knee ended up being bone on bone. I like totally shattered my knee, bro. In my senior year, I wasn't even healthy out there. Like, I was just trying to play, and my mom ended up telling me, like, nah, you're done. Like, you got to walk. You got to live. The doctor is telling me, hey, you got to be 40 one day.
Right.
And yeah, man. So it was kind of ended bad, but kind of makes you stronger. Definitely during that time, I got dealing with the pain and just being on your back, having to sleep in pain, crutching through school for damn near 2 years. It was tough, but the times I was on that field, I wouldn't give that up for nothing. That was the best times of my life for sure.
1,000. And I mean, at the end of the day, your mom made the right decision. They all,
Yeah,
I know in
yeah.
the heat of the moment, like, you say, hey,
I wanted to fight her, bro.
we talked to play through pain, bro. Like, we want to
Yeah,
keep this going. I get it
exactly, man.
100%, bro. I totally get it 1,000%.
Yeah, I
Oh,
really cried when she shut me down. She did it in the doctor's office. She said, "Nah, you done." I still looked at her. I said, "What?" Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, man. So you said you got to play a few years in Texas, bro.
Yeah, my from third grade to sixth grade.
Texas is when they say that's the football state.
Eh,
What was that like?
different, man. Hey, it's different. It's like it's a lot of comp out here, but like where we're from, the Central Coast, it's kind of here and there. Like you get up to LA and stuff, it's a little more competition. But man, Texas is crazy, bro. Like man, it's just the aura out there is just it's football state, bro. And even like the middle school I went to, they already had weight rooms. They have their once you get to middle school, you stop playing little league. They already have their teams and everything set up. Once you get to seventh grade, that's when you play the middle school teams. It's pretty much set up like a high school. Like what middle school out here got a weight room?
Weight room,
Like the
bro.
school I went,
We
weight
can't
room.
locker rooms, dog.
They literally had a weight room, dude, in a middle school. That's crazy. So that just explains it right there. It's just different, man. I remember my last year there, I was in fifth grade. I made the all-star team. And we were playing the sixth graders, like, because sixth graders, you don't play till seventh grade, you didn't play for the middle school. So sixth grade, you were still in Little League. Bro,
Okay.
when I tell you these dudes was big, I was like, are these dudes in high school? They have to be in high school, bro. Because I lived in Houston, and we had to go to like out in the countryside where the All-Star games was at. It was like a little tournament. So we played like 3 games, like back-to-back weeks. And they kind of set it up like a little All-Star tournament. And bro, we actually went like 2-2. But man, I remember one game it was so crazy. This dude literally dropped the ball like 20 yards, ran all the way back. I just remember being right there, and he literally just ran around me. Like, dude, it's just crazy out there. The competition, it's like they're bigger. They're built. This is different, man. Like Texas ball is crazy. But California got some ballers though.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna denounce Cali, but I don't just Texas to me
football
just different.
states, Texas, Florida, and Cali. Everybody knows.
Yeah. I feel like they just breathe it different out there, bro. They're just hungry.
Yeah. Because I mean, the Cali is also a hooping state too. There's definitely some.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel
And
like
I feel like
football.
I feel like out here too, because you know how like when you go to like the Boys and Girls Club or wherever, like Little League, they kind of feel like they don't really know what they're doing, right? They're kind of just out there. I
Yeah.
feel like the little kids out there, like they're equipped with the game, like they know. Like you even watch on Netflix, they got the Friday Night Tykes, and it's San Antonio, Texas, and it's these coaches. It's a little league like series, and they show the coaches. Man, you watch that? These fools is yelling at them like they high schoolers, trying to run through. Dude be like 6 years old, not even 2 feet, and it's just different.
Like Texas, when like once you're born and you hit that age, you're like you ain't got a choice. You ain't gotta like you may not like it. You ain't gotta do it as you get older, but you're going to try it. Like what's that movie? Varsity Blues when
Yes.
told his son like you can tell he didn't really care about football, but he was like, yeah, the hell with this. You gonna play football, dog. Like I feel like every family in Texas, white, black, Asian, it does not matter. You are going to play football in Texas, and
Yeah, for
I feel like they
facts.
start younger. But like you said, Cali got some ballers too. And I mean,
for
Lompoc
sure.
was my first taste of a football town. You know,
Facts.
moving around in the army, Brad. When I got to Lompoc, I didn't understand it until you get to high school, and you know, who was I telling this to? I forget who I was telling. I think it was Ruben. When I was like, man, when you play YFL, you don't think about the pros, bro. You're dreaming to get under those Friday night lights because Lompoc is
Lompoc, yeah, that's what you look
football.
up to.
Talk
Because
about that.
I just remember going to like being in middle school and Friday nights. You know where you finna be at? Like, hey, Lompoc, you wearing sporting your little Lompoc jersey for Little League, and you just want to go to the game and watch it. It's crazy just watching them because that's to you, that's what you feel like the pros are. It's the big.
Right.
You ain't really thinking about the pros. You thinking about like man, Lompoc football. At least that's how I thought. Like I just can't wait to be under the Friday Night Lights, and those are the best moments for sure.
Man,
Especially we went on a 32 game win streak,
I
end
like to
up
bring that up.
playing CIF.
I like
Yeah,
to
it
bring
was
that up
crazy.
because, like I said, I moved in late, so I had no idea what like football was to Lompoc until later on. Um, because I say I started playing in high school. Like I played a year or so in the YFL, but I didn't really play. Like it was like
Hmm.
you filling up the roster space. Matter of fact, one of those years I played with you. Um,
See,
and
I didn't know that.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. And so I like really what got me back on it was, and like what really deterred me away from it was because I had never played football before, and you know how in Lompoc your class is by your weight. So I was a bigger kid, so I'm in third, fourth
Yeah.
playing with them eighth graders, and it was just I had no chance up there, bro. and so,
Exactly.
yeah, and so
Yeah, they put that yellow tape on your helmet. They say you
man,
gotta go.
like I looked at them kids like man, like it's like I was playing with kids that graduated high school before I got there.
Yeah,
That was the age group I was playing in, and so
that's crazy. They should
man,
go by age for sure, though.
yeah, that's
That weight, that whole weight thing.
yeah, yeah. It was kind of like you thrown to the dogs type stuff, and
It's
like
crazy.
after that, I had no interest really in going back to football until freshman year. Man, it was Coach Toronis when we did one of those
Hmm.
like fire drills at Lompoc. You know, we went to the
Okay.
field, and I just stepped on that field and looked like, man, I can't imagine playing like with the lights on and the stadium full, bro. And that's
Man.
really what brought me back to it. And I mean, even the few years I got to Lompoc, like I didn't really hear much about it being like a good football team until
Hmm.
uh, I think
Jonesy took
my
over.
year before I got to high school when they won the first title, if I
Hmm.
remember correctly, and then
Yeah, that was probably your freshman year. My sophomore year is when they won their first one.
freshman year, yeah, when they won their first one. No, my freshman year is when they won against Cabrillo.
Okay, then I was a junior then.
Yeah, you was a junior then, and
Okay.
like then once you go back to back, and then you said it right, 32 game win streak, bro. Talk about what was it like being a part of that, and then with the talent you were playing with on that team.
Man, it was just like I just knew it was better than everybody because I played with a lot of these dudes in Little League. And even in Little League, like most of the teams I was part of, we're good. Like I just knew we was just different. My senior Little League team, we went undefeated to the playoff game, and everybody ended up hurt for the last game, and we lost. And I just knew that class that I was with, it was just different. Like I knew we were like destined to be good. And I ended up going to Cabrillo. I didn't want to go to Cabrillo.
I'm all about
I
that, and I'm gonna hold
yeah,
explain this real quick for people who don't know. We got two high schools in Lompoc and Cabrillo, and it's like if you want to go get a scholarship for grades, you go to Cabrillo. But if you want to be
like
an athlete, quote unquote athlete, especially in obviously like football, if you're really trying to go
mhm,
somewhere for football, you go to Lompoc because that's where
exactly.
that's where everybody goes.
It's a different dynamic. Like when I was at Cabrillo, it was like no one was just hungry, bro. Like
Yeah.
no one just had that I want it. Like you think they want it, but they ain't trying to put that work in. And I went there my first 2 years, and then I ended up going to Lompoc. Happiest decision, great decision. And I was with all my boys. It was like I already knew everybody from Little League and just knowing being in the town. And man, I just knew because they won CIF my sophomore year,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of the guys that are my grade were on that team. So they were. It was just keep it going, and then I ended up starting on that team my junior year, the whole season until I got hurt, basically. And man, it was just we were just beating everybody. I remember our first game, my junior year in AG. They won the championship the year before, or they might have lost to Chaminade, but they made it to the CIF. We're
Yeah.
down like 20 points.
Yeah. The year.
Fans over here
Uh,
yelling, "Bring varsity!" Yeah, they're yelling, "Bring varsity out!" This and that. Came back, smacked them like 28-20 or whatever.
Yeah.
Came back and then went undefeated that year. We were supposed to go to state, and it was funny because Jonesy, my head coach at the time, he's still the head coach, but our first meeting, he showed a picture of the Home Depot Center, and that's where the state's held at. And I'm just thinking, like, bro, what state? Like, most coaches just want to win like league or this and that. Like, this will not state. Like, that's what we trying to do. Man, we went undefeated. We got robbed. The team we got picked over because they had a bigger attendance, bigger school, I should say. I think we would have beat that team. And then they end up, so we went undefeated, won CIF, and I actually ended up playing Cabrillo in CIF, which is crazy. So that town, same city, two high schools playing for the CIF championship. We beat them. We're thinking we're going to state, but they picked somebody else, and it sucked, man. It was crazy. And then my senior year, went undefeated again. End up losing to Sarah, I think third round.
Yeah.
And private school in LA. Man, that was probably the worst game we ever played, as I seen, as far as Lompoc had like 4 turnovers. I think if we played them again, we would have beat them, honestly. I think we was ready to play them the next day.
Right.
They had some athletes though. One of their guys was the 7th pick in the first round.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Or Dory Jackson, yeah, dude was an athlete, but my boys was outrunning them. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't just him. Sarah had ballers though.
they had some ballers. It's a private school, so they could go tap in here. They would go grab here, go grab here.
And I remember I was thinking that like the next year, because Jones did it again, showed the Home Depot, and they're like wanting to get there, and like the same thing. We didn't go undefeated that year. We lost in the season to Bakersfield.
Okay.
Yeah, but we get back to the third round, and this time it's Chaminade, who is Sarah's rival up in LA, another team that's private and goes and taps in from different states. I think their quarterback was a 5th-year senior. I didn't know you could go 5 years in high school.
Yeah, bro, they be doing that at the private schools.
Yeah, who ended up being a quarterback for Detroit and Detroit Lions. They had a stack squad. But I was just thinking like during the off season, like, man, a bunch of kids from a small town playing private schools in LA. That shows like the how far this town really cares about football. That's what I was thinking. Like,
and we got some talent, dude. We got some from Jones he from Marcel Blow, Jordan Collins, and then the next year having like Lavon, Nico, and then next year having Toa. I knew like, man, this dude done got bust with talent, bro.
It was like it was just reloading. I don't know what they got now. I haven't really paid attention much since I left, but Uh, so you mentioned you left Cabrillo. Why was
Yeah,
that?
man, it's just a little situation happened in my sophomore year. Um, I ended up getting assaulted by a teacher or a counselor, I should say, basketball coach. And then that was a crazy time. Uh, Stayed there the rest of that year. I was trying to get homeschooled, and that's actually a really crazy process. It's like a big wait list, so we couldn't even get in homeschool if I wanted to. They were trying to send me to Maple, and my mom was like, "Nah, my son's not going to Maple."
Nah.
And it was already in the middle. I think it was school had just started, so Lompoc kind of was out the question to just switch. So I ended up just staying at Cabrillo the rest of the year. And in my mind, I was already thinking, like, I'm going to Lompoc after this. Like, I'm done. My last day at Cabrillo, I threw all my Cabrillo stuff and just threw it, left. Uh, but they actually ended up sending me a letter because I was school of choice. And they denied me to go back to the school, even though I didn't really want to. I wasn't going to go back anyway. But the
Right,
fact that they still sent me that letter,
Were
they're
you
like, nah,
surprised the counselor kept his job? 'Cause
yeah, yeah, man, it's crazy. End up getting like pushed into a window by the counselor teacher, and I guess he's just a head basketball coach. They were winning games. He's kind of like got up there, and I was just a little black kid, little 15-year-old, and they're basically trying to cover that situation up, and end up getting lawyered up and all that, but it was just a lot for a 15-year-old, and my parents kind of didn't force me to keep going through the situation, and I kind of just wanted to get over it. Basically, yeah, the situation happened. Um, yeah, I'm trying to prop this up. Um, and the situation happened. I went through that whole year. That was a crazy year. Not even just that, it was kind of like a race war in Lompoc as well. So dealing with that, and just it was just my sophomore year of my high school. It was pretty crazy, man. Looking back at it, gave me that like I could deal with anything, because of that fact that I got through that, being assaulted by a teacher, um, parents calling me a thug, saying, "Look how your parents raised me. Your parents are horrible parents." Just all this and that, not even knowing me, not knowing what happened, knowing I didn't even touch this guy. He was angry and decided to just push me into a window.
you said it,
So
bro. Dude up there was considered a god. Parents went to bat for that man. I remember. I want to say it was my senior year, or it might have been the year after that. I don't remember when he had got caught having sexual relations with a teacher in his office, and I remember he had got like suspended or something from coaching, or they was threatening to fire him. They were doing something where he didn't coach for a while, and they
mm-hmm.
took it to court. And I remember every player's parent. I remember seeing a picture. Every
It
player
was there
was in that courtroom backing that man up because he was a great basketball coach.
just because he was a good basketball coach. Or
Man,
maybe he just had good talent. I don't know. But yeah, crazy thing is that was my freshman teacher. And man, when that situation happened, the day I came back to school, all the teachers went on strike, like half the teachers, because I was back at the school and he was still on leave. So just even that, when it was like four of my teachers, so
right,
I see where you stand at now.
man.
So those teachers, I wouldn't even participate in their class. Like I just didn't. Man, it was rough, bro. I'll
Yeah,
tell you that. It was a
yeah.
rough time,
That,
but I got through it. I don't see how dude's athletic director right now. He got 9 lives.
that's what I'm saying. That
9 lives, man.
means untouchable up there. Uh,
It's all good. You got to meet your maker at the end.
that's
You got
it.
to answer to all your
At some point, what goes around comes back around, and when they hit,
Exactly.
watch out. Um,
Exactly.
so we talked about your athletic career at Lompoc, but one thing I brought up earlier was, you one of the black leaders in Lompoc, and especially with everything that's going on, I want to get your opinion just based on. I mean, it's happened for so many years, but it seemed like it really picked up over the past few months. I want to get
Definitely.
your whole opinion on everything.
Well, I'll probably just start from the George situation. Um, Obviously, we all know what's going on. Um, I feel like a lot of people that don't agree with Black Lives Matter, they don't understand. They don't know what it's like to be a black man in America. They don't know. They don't know the struggles of that. They think life is just beautiful and free, but it's hard, man. It's like we already got two strikes.
Man,
And I done seen, man, I've been held at gunpoint by police. I done been assaulted by police. I done been disrespected. And it's just like, man, without that badge, man, you bleed just like I bleed. And just going back, like I said, like the George situation happened, man, that shit broke my heart. Like, I didn't even watch the whole video. It only really took me, I watched maybe 2 minutes of it, and just hearing that dude like cry and yell out for his mom, bro. It's just, man, and then you not even having the empathy, like, bro, how sick of a human you gotta be to hear a man yelling for his life, and you don't even let up like your knee, like you're just chilling, sitting on his knee, like you have no disregards for this man's life,
not just that,
and
but the one cop that was standing between the spectators and George Floyd. Like, how can you, as a human being, be okay with that? I don't give a damn that the
man,
partner with a badge on. Like, as at what point does your conscience as a human being come in and realize that is wrong? Like,
exactly, and like, man, me personally, bro, I wouldn't have been able to record that. Like, I would have been in jail because I would have pushed dude. Like,
try to push them off.
yeah, I just hope I'll never come into that type of situation because it's like
Man, man,
you're gonna lose that battle either way, and you become the threat. But even the people yelling at him to get off, and like you not even letting up, man, it's just sick. And basically that just started like, man, it just started a fire in the world watching that. And as you see that they say all 50 states have protests, eight
mm-hmm,
countries.
mm-hmm,
And man, even Lompoc, bro, it's crazy because it was this different group of people that started protesting, like little, like 5, 6 people. They would be out by Coast Hills,
right. I remember you.
on the main street of Lompoc with their signs, and they end up putting up signs, and then this guy Anthony end up trying to put this big one together, and we seen it, so we're kind of like, at first I didn't really want to be a part of a protest just because where my mind was at.
Right,
My mind was seeing fire.
right.
So it was hard to just I couldn't settle down. And it was a lot of racial tension going on social media with people I went to high school with, were putting up memes of George Floyd saying, how dude with these lips, how can he not breathe? And just people having no type of sympathy, like thinking it's funny. So it was a lot of racial tension going on, and just for a lot of majority of people, we was angry from that situation. Because I
Right.
could have been George at one point. You could have been, anybody could have been him at that point. And that's not even the first. How many times have we watched someone die on camera and they get nothing happens.
Man, bro, and you know, and that's just what we see. That's just what was recorded. Imagine all the times that
Exactly.
happened. Like you said, you've been held at gunpoint. I've been held at gunpoint by a police officer. And at that moment, I was like Floyd. I was just thinking, like, man, I don't even get to say peace to my parents like that. I don't get to say goodbye at all.
Man,
Like, I told my mom this not the other day, but like a couple months ago, I was like, it's at a point now to where if not if the next time I get stopped by a police officer, I can't guarantee that I'll make it out alive. And
exactly.
what's crazy is I can do everything right. Like I can be as the calmest person in that situation, but he's got the gun. And if he has a bad day or if he's upset, I pay the price.
Exactly.
And that's
I'll
the
tell you right now, bro, the time I got my gun held on me, I was sitting in my car waiting for my dad to get off work. So end up being a mistaken identity, even though we're in the dark and I got a hood on and I'm sitting in a car.
Yeah, I got pulled over because my car didn't have a front license plate. And so the cops assumed I stole it.
It's just yeah, it's wild, man. But
And
just to keep going on the whole situation how I just risen in Lompoc though. Man, I was so proud of Lompoc, bro. I didn't like I said, I didn't really want to be a part of it at first, just cause like where I was at mentally. But I ended up talking to a couple like friends, and I was just like, well, should we should we be a part of it? The guy in actually was not even black; he was Mexican. So when I ended up talking to him about it, I was kind of like, I didn't want to be disrespectful, but I was just like, you can't lead this, because
right.
even though we're both minorities and we go through the same struggles damn near at
And
this point in our life, I can't
yeah,
like no disrespect, I can't rock behind you right now. Like we need some like black leaders right now. So the situation is June 3rd. It's like what it starts at 5 o'clock. We get to the park, Ryan Park, and I'm talking to Raylan Pearson and person, and where I'm just like, man, like we're just gonna go on the fly with it. And the guy that actually started the whole thing, I didn't see him that whole day. He kind of let us rock. He got everybody there together, and he was the one that got the ball rolling with all the protests and people putting up signs. And it was even crazy, like people were going out their way, ripping signs down that said Black Lives Matter or George Floyd or Sandra Bland.
of those business owners. Uh,
Yeah, man.
mhm.
Just going out their way, like being disrespectful, man. It's just a sign, like, and park ends up getting packed, and I'm kind of just in my own zone. Like, I'm just like, damn, like this is crazy. So, my boy Fabio has a microphone or a megaphone, and we just start speaking one by one to the crowd. And it was just kind of crazy situation because everybody just kind of gravitated, and then we just end up being like the leaders. And my boy Jason Bryson, we all just start one by one telling our little stories and telling how like this injustice affects us and others. And man, the plan to march to the police station literally was hatched that moment. And we're like, let's march to the police station. And it was crazy because when we got there, man, I end up jumping on this like little
I saw the video. You jump on.
yeah, the little stand thing.
Yeah,
And it was just weird because I was like the only one. And it was just looking out to the parking lot. And just that moment, bro, is something I'll never forget, looking at all those people and just chanting no justice, no peace. And not one cop came out. We seen them through the door. They were on top of the roof, but none of them came and spoke or anything. They were saying they're short because they were in other cities trying to deal with the other protests as well, or the crime as well. But I don't know. That wasn't no excuse to me. Like,
Right.
It wasn't like we at that time. That was a perfect time for you guys to have a dialogue with us because the disconnect from the police and these neighborhoods is the problem. And yeah, man, we end up marching all the way down to Coast Hills. We're marching where I think we're gonna go up by Constellation actually. And someone ended up like, nah, turn around because I kept getting texts that the SWAT was forming. And I think they were gonna meet us there. So we obviously wanted all peace and stuff. So we just went into the Mervin's parking lot and just kind of gathered together and kind of people spoke. And then we ended up marching back in the streets, sidewalks. It was just crazy, man. Cars going with us, like honking and like kind of leading us. It was just a crazy moment, bro. Just some. It gave me like that's what I needed because like when I told you I had that fire in me, I didn't know if I want to be a part of it. But after that day, I just felt so much just love and joy, and and it's just not saying it's not just about the police brutality, it's just the racism.
Man.
Like they want to say, oh well, not that hasn't happened in Lompoc, but there's race. Like 805 is a racist community. Like Lompoc is bad. I'm sure you've been through your own racial, and even like your brother, I know he dealt with his stuff at Cabrillo, and that's like the one of the first things that comes up when I heard about like with the Coach West stuff.
Right.
That your brother is kind of the first thing that pops up, and man, just like San Ynez, Slow, all those places, like people don't understand. Like 805 is a really bad.
Is built in damn, I think the KKK out there.
Yeah, and the dude that was leading protests out there was getting death threats and all that.
That's what I'm saying.
And yeah, man, I ended up someone called my job saying that I was leading like violence. And it was a crazy time. And then
weren't you supposed to work that day?
yeah, I was. It was crazy.
I remember seeing
man,
that your boss had called.
Yeah, I was like, bro, I ain't going to work, dog. I got it. He texted me too. He's like, where you at? Because he kept calling me. And I said, man, I'm marching. I had to turn my phone off.
Oh, that was hilarious.
But yeah, I had to be a part of that, man. It was bigger than work. It was bigger than
1,000. And matter of fact, didn't you and Ray Lynn, it might have been somebody else, ended up on the news?
Oh yeah, Jason. Because we kind of, it was at a point where like, all right, we marched, but what now? Like, what's next? Because I just walked down 8th Street for no reason, just to like have gratitude. Like maybe people were there for the good reasons or to take pictures, but I was doing it because I was hurt and I felt bad. Like just the 400 years of the pain and suffering of African Americans, Blacks, Africans, like, man, 400 years, bro. Still happening now, 2020, in a different form, a different, more exotic form. It ain't just, it's still blatantly out there, but.
I mean, like, my thoughts on that was, first off, was when people, because people talk about Black Lives Matter and it's more negative than positive. But what was really pissing me off was that people would include the people who were out there stealing stuff. Like, that's not what Black Lives Matter was out there promoting. That's just people who had their own agenda. But the fact that you keep trying to throw them into the Black Lives Matter, when we've seen a lot of videos of cops and white people purposely destroying stuff to try to make it look like it was black people doing it.
Yeah,
so seeing all that crap pissed me off.
I'm not big into like how you say conspiracies, but if you look at history, man, the government they know how to infiltrate and push a narrative. And
Oh,
I'm actually really tired of people acting like Black Lives Matter is an organization or like a dude, that's like it's a life. Like my life matters, you know? Like
that's what we're
they try to make it into a politic thing and
man.
it's not.
It's people that's tired of not being treated equally, and they want to be seen the same as you. Why is that such an issue?
Why is such an issue? And then they want to say all lies. Well, you're not the one getting killed on
Yeah,
camera,
exactly.
and not even getting killed, getting away with it. Even the lady that shot the dude in her apartment, the cop, the judge saying, giving her a hug. The dude was in his apartment.
And I mean, and look at,
10.
and this happened before George, Ahmaud Arbery, you know, jogging in his own neighborhood, and white people assuming that he was a burglar, chase him down and shoot him in broad daylight in the middle of the
Broad,
street.
you're running because you're a burglar, broad daylight, bro.
At
Call
a
the call the police. Call the police.
construction site or something, and you grab your guns and you go chase him down and shoot him.
And people don't understand that happened months ago. Them dudes was just arrested when
And a few, like a little bit before George Floyd happened.
it was month before, and then it hit the social medias, and then all of a sudden they arrest the guys.
And as a matter of fact, it only happened because, matter of fact, the video that came out, I thought it was somebody who had like was an innocent bystander who shot the video. Nah, the guy who shot the video was with the two guys that killed him. He was in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the guy who shot the video was a part of those two white guys. He was in the truck searching for him as well. He was recording it as a way to show that he was going to attack them first. So he posted that as trying to say the white guys are innocent here, and clearly it backfired because he ended up
Exactly. Yeah.
got arrested too.
Yeah.
Like,
And man, but then it's like these dudes is getting like GoFundMe's to him. Like even the dude that killed George Floyd got a
man,
GoFund. That
well,
shit, man. It's
look at Breonna
it's
Taylor. It happened 6 months ago, nothing, and now a grand jury decided that no charges are going to be filed against for her murder, but one cop will get charged for shooting at the wall because the next apartment next to it had a husband and a pregnant lady in there. So the
and
wall,
then
but Breonna Taylor's death just goes unanswered.
exactly. And then they're already saying like one of the police said that or something happened where they're saying that they didn't announce themselves.
Yeah,
And that whole no knock warrant is crazy anyway.
well,
And then
what's
they're
getting on my nerves is this not just I've seen black people say this that you can't put Breonna Taylor's death in the same category as George Floyd. They're trying to they're making it sound like it was the boyfriend's fault for shooting. What had happened was that the police they say they knocked and introduced or that they announced themselves who they were, and the boyfriend is saying when he heard the knocks he was saying who is it, but there was no answer. The cops entered their apartment and he fired one shot at the ground as a warning shot, and the police started firing back and he fired and hit one of them. And what's pissing me off is the cops were in street clothing. I think any person who sees somebody in street clothing in their crib is going to shoot.
exactly.
Painting the picture like the boyfriend was just chilling, knew they were cops, and shot at him.
You're in street clothes, like that's why I understand that either. Like, bro, y'all got a uniform on, especially all this stuff going on and the KKK and all that. Like,
if I ever saw a cop in street clothes and he showed me his badge, I'm gonna think it's fake.
Yeah.
Like, it's my mindset. If you're not in a uniform and you show me your badge, I'm going to think it's fake.
Exactly.
And
they don't. I don't think they understand that.
I don't. Yeah, and they keep painting the picture like the boyfriend was at fault here because like they're making it sound like he knew they were police officers and he just chose to shoot them.
Exactly.
And yeah,
You scared. You're in your own home. You're scared. And they even got it. Some of those cops were a part of. They went to the wrong house in like 2018. It was
right.
like almost the same situation. So it's just crazy, man. It's just one after another, after another, after another, and it's just sick, bro. It had been kids. It's just I'm not sure the kid. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. That had the play gun. He was
I
like
think
11.
Rice
Yeah, yeah. Just come on, kids, bro.
with a toy
Sad.
gun.
They still ain't kind of made no situation about Sandra Bland, bro. How does lady just go dead in the cell?
Man,
Bro, I could just
Martin,
name a
and he was
man.
not guilty. That one hurt, bro. Like, just a kid. And what was that video that came out? I forget his name, but he was like walking away from the police in his truck, and they shot him in the back like 7 or 8 times with his
Oh
kids.
yeah, Blake, I believe.
Yeah,
Last, yeah. And
yeah,
then okay, so you got the situation right when they said the pregnant lady. All right, you guys shot in a car with kids in it.
and that's I remember saying, what if one of those bullets deflected and hit one of the kids?
Still
But
would have been in.
like, and as soon as he gets shot, they immediately go into his background, like, oh, he had warrants out for assault or whatever it was to make, but like justifying why he was shot.
There is no justification.
What was
They
your
wanna then they go straight to the criminal record. What your criminal record got to do with you at that point?
always like even if he was doing something wrong, the man had his back turned to you. As a police officer, you can't get him to the ground and arrest him. You have to shoot him 7 or 8 times in the back.
When there's already four of you guys.
Four of
And
y'all.
I just think even it just be movies, bro. The military, they go in with their mission and they said don't shoot unless shot fired upon, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, why can't even that be the same situation? Y'all just, it's crazy, man. They got a license to kill you, dude, and it's
Literally
scary.
a license to get away with it. And I remember hearing Shannon Sharp say this, you look at the fire department, you got to go through a lot of stuff to be a firefighter. A doctor, you got to go through med school, you got to go through all that to be a doctor. To be a police officer, you just got to pass a test, go to the police academy for a bit, and you're a cop.
Pretty
And
much
then
good to go.
all these like people, you can like I've heard KKK members have like you could be like a racist and enter the police. Like now it is shown you have a way to go kill black people and you get away with it. And what was it that we kept saying, or that we kept seeing like on social media, to where like the cops are the ones who are supposedly trained to remain calm in tight situations, but when they panic, people who have no training are the ones who are supposed to stay calm when there's a gun in your face.
Exactly. And it's just
And
like, dude, I'm scared of you guys.
man,
Like strict, like
uh,
literally fear.
and then to
And
see after the shooting of Blake in front of his kids and the protest breakout in Milwaukee, a white kid drives from Illinois with an assault rifle and kills 2 people and shoots another person, and he literally walked by the police. He wasn't
ridiculous, dude.
he got to drive all the way back home, and they arrested him at his house. Matter of fact, I think they said they even gave him water after he had after he had just fired on some people. And after he was arrested, the first thing I saw was they posted a picture of him like scraping graffiti off the wall. So he just drove 2 states and murdered 2 people, but he's painted as a good Samaritan. But an unarmed black person is killed, and oh, he had a criminal background, so he deserved to get shot.
And that just shows you right there. First of all, I know I could probably speak for you too. I'll ask you, do you feel comfortable walking with a AK-47 M16 in the streets?
I don't even feel comfortable owning one in my crib.
See, that just shows you right there, bro. It's the privilege, that the fact that you even feel that comfortable to even do that. And in the videos of the cops telling the dudes with the guns, like, I don't know, man. It's just, it's scary, bro. It's real. It's scary, man. It's sickening. We're tired of it. So it's good to see a lot of the NBA teams and the NFL teams because obviously I'm just a kid from Lompoc, California. Not saying I can't change. I can maybe change my community, but they have a platform, and
Right.
obviously sports is the biggest entertainment in the world, and it's good and great that they're using their platform, and they did the whole the games where they didn't play. So it
Right.
was,
Yeah.
and I'll see a lot of teams is I know the Baltimore Ravens, they put out like a statement where they're like talking to the mayor and the governor, like, nah, like change the laws, like specific laws. So instead of just putting Black Lives Matter on your court and like, nah, bro, we need change. Like, uh, y'all probably got personally, they golf with the governors and stuff.
And
Those dudes are worth millions of billions of dollars.
yeah, they're really trying to get these owners to do something because the networking that these guys, as you said, they're worth billions of dollars. And I bet you if they wanted this to change, they can make a lot happen, but they won't.
Exactly. And it's crazy and it sucks because like sports is a lot of them incomes and how they support. But if all them players said, nah, we ain't playing, them owners gonna be out a lot of money. You see how they try to get the NBA back so quick.
All right.
And man, it's like, yeah, LeBron's the biggest in the world, but go look, Jerry Jones got more money than LeBron.
Yeah.
The person that owned the Lakers got more money than LeBron.
Yeah.
Those relationships they got with them
What's
people,
going on? Jerry Jones ain't say a word.
man, it's just, and then dope. And it's just crazy because these dudes make you money. The black African Americans are literally the majority percentage of the sports.
But we've seen that owners have that same type of mentality. We've seen them call them slaves, and you know
Mm,
that's how they look at their athletes as somebody who makes me money.
exactly. And it's just, man, hopefully we get some change. It was pretty disturbing with our current president.
Yeah, I tell you, matter of fact, when the riots started happening after Floyd, and you see him tweet to send the military over there, and I give you permission to shoot these thugs.
Exactly.
That's our president talking, giving the military permission. If you want to kill them, kill them.
And also giving other people the dude that the white boy Kyle Rittenhouse or whatever,
Right.
he gives people like that power to feel comfortable to go do that.
Yes.
Because if you notice the interview where he's talking about him, he kind of is like giving him an excuse. But you notice how he never says anything about the African Americans that get slain. He never said one thing about George Floyd, but he'll say something about the cops and
Right.
uh, even
Really,
when the cops got shot, that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth. Like obviously it's horrible that happened, but and that's not the answer. But
and I
it's
mean,
just you just see.
I definitely don't condone the police getting shot or hurt in these riots and these protests and stuff like that. That's definitely not what I'd like to see happen. But I feel like just everybody's still ignoring the message that we're trying to send. When you see
Exactly.
these people keep saying blue lives matter, we're not saying the police lives don't matter. Like but you guys keep ignoring the message that we're trying to say. Like my viewpoint is I don't think all cops are bad, but
Oh yeah.
I don't trust any of them. So, like, kind of like how police look at a black person and just say all of us are thugs, all of us are bad. Like, I know every police officer is not that bad, but I don't want to give that chance to find out. Like, I'm
Exactly. I
serious.
don't trust you. I
I'm
don't
afraid of
trust you.
y'all. I am afraid of y'all.
Exactly. It's funny because the time, not even that it's funny, but the time after I got the guns pointed at me, that situation that happened in Goleta, and the next time I got pulled over, I think it was maybe a month, and I did a California roll, and I was taking the back way to go to Santa Maria, and it was just me and that cop on that what's the road?
Right?
What road? Yeah. To go to Surf Beach. What's that road?
Um, ah, I don't know
Ocean.
what you're talking about. I forget.
Ocean, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just me and him. He pulls me over, and like first thing I noticed, he already got his hand on his gun.
Mhm.
And first of all, that makes me nervous off top. You don't know that I just got, and he's just like, "Why are you so nervous?" And then he's getting all antsy. Little
Yeah.
does he know, like I just had 7 cops have point guns at me and a K9 dog barking at me. So I'm kind of a little disgruntled right now. And he's just talking to me like, I'm trying to do you a favor. And I do. All I did was a California roll. You can give me the ticket, you're not giving me a ticket.
Right, bro.
And he's just trying to have a whole conversation. And I'm just like, dude, what is his hand on his gun? You're making me more nervous. So,
Man. That,
and I was, yeah, go ahead.
and I mean, like I told you after like this past week when we found out no charges would be filed against Brianna for her death, I just sat like 30 minutes just in silence because it just like it feels like the last few months of all the fighting we're trying to do, we're not getting anywhere. Like I really
Nowhere.
that cemented that Black lives do not matter in this country. I really feel like when you said the wall gets justice before Brianna does, I really feel like that submitted that we're not making any progress and we're not going to make progress. I'm not saying
And
we're never going to give up this fight, but like it's everybody trying to push back saying, no, you guys do not matter to us.
exactly. And that shows the justice system. Look at all the people that there's just no justice.
Which is why
Not,
I said after the white kid got arrested, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets off.
and I won't be. So they think we forgetting about homeboy that had his knee on George's neck. They thinking we forgetting about him.
I ain't even
But
heard
I won't even be surprised if that
they didn't
happens,
get
man.
off.
So I don't
Man,
know. Like, man, how many times have we watched on camera? Rodney King. Even the dude, I actually need to research what was his name? The dude in New York that got choked out. Michael, no, that wasn't Michael Brown.
no, Michael Brown was Missouri.
Yeah, I can't think of the dude that got choked out when he's telling him I can't breathe either.
You
And
see
if
what
we're
I mean?
selling the cigarettes,
But I forget. But it's so many of them that's happening,
yeah,
man.
exactly. But the dude that was recording barely got out of jail. And I still don't even know the situation or the facts behind that.
Well, did you see? Crap, I don't remember her name, but the woman who like got charged for like bribery to get her kids into like USC,
Uh,
where the ruling comes out that she'll do 2 months in prison, but she gets to choose where she gets to do out her sentence at. And everybody, I remember seeing LeBron post like, how does somebody get to choose what? As a black person, we have never been given that right. We're sent. They sent us to high security prisons, and you only get 2 months for bribery to get your kids into school. I know if a black person did that, it's years and years.
If
And
they did any kind of fraud or any of that, they're doing years.
and
But
she
the
prison,
fact that they got money, it's
man,
just money. It comes into the money situation and who you know, bro.
man,
They're,
when
that's not their threat. We're their threat. They don't want to see us prosper in life because if you go back into history, look how much general wealth was destroyed. You don't even know your great great grandfather might have had some that got destroyed. Like you look into Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they used to have a Black Wall Street, all these businesses got burnt down by white mobs.
right.
And it's just sickening, bro.
But now that people are burning down these businesses, we're seeing as just it's like we're making it worse.
You care about a Target that pays employees a minimum wage.
Right?
They don't care about you.
You care about the
They
target more than
they won't even give you insurance, so they don't care about you.
exactly. It there's like the mindset. It's like ever since Trump was elected, it's just gone backwards, bro. Like the old school mentality of the slave owners is come back big time. And
Big time.
I mean that's why he was elected. He just said what everybody felt.
Hmm.
And
I just thought it was a joke him running for president. I didn't really think he was gonna get elected.
I did too. When they said Trump was running, I was like, bro, no way. Like matter of fact, I didn't even think twice about it. I was like, ain't no way he winning. And then I remember I was at school in Santa Barbara getting ready to go to class, and I was like, yo, he's low key winning. Like, okay, man, this may be a little bit more serious. And then in class, now Trump is elected president. I was like, no fucking way. That
and
just
then
and I got that
and then
bro. Like, I don't give a damn what people think. Like, I look at it as if you a Trump supporter, then you want me dead.
exactly.
That's how
And
I
it's
see it.
and it's kind of like I'll be on Facebook, and this is like families that I grew up with, that I know are good people. But it's like, man, I just gotta look at you if you support that guy. Like,
Yeah,
I
bro.
don't care about they look at it, the business aspect of it, but dude, don't care about my life
Not at
at
all.
all. All
And
these politicians, honestly,
yeah, bro. And I
it
remember,
ain't like Biden any better because
yeah, but I'll take him over Trump any day.
I'll take him,
Like,
but it's just the fact that we only be having those two options, like to run a country. You would think it would be so much more to it
right.
to run,
This
but
year,
how
I
does
in
go
November
ahead.
we got to get that man out of there.
Exactly. How this world was structured, man, is crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if we could take another 4 years of Trump.
Oh no. He's gonna he even said like his comments of saying like another four. Like I really be thinking he be plotting ways to make all that type of stuff happen.
Well,
Or
he's
he's
like,
telling people vote twice. Like
he's. I think he already said like he's trying to shut down the mail-in ballots, like as a way to to keep it rigged and stuff. But I mean, for people watching, you got to vote. Come
and
this
then
November, you have
I
got,
don't like celebrities saying like don't vote either. Like you
man.
got this platform.
No, you have to tell these people to vote. This man has got to get out of office. And I
And
mean,
it's the way they say it, I could agree, but it's like that's just not the way because they're like, well, what is Biden gonna do for black people? Like, what is he gonna do for black America? Which I can understand because at the point it's like once they get in, bro, they pretty much go back from everything they said they was actually trying to do. They just want to get our vote. But maybe Kamala Harris can make a little difference. I don't know. She's not even big in the black community as far as some people look, because I know she was an attorney in
my reaction
Oakland.
to that is you can ask what they will do for the black community, but we know what Trump will do for the black community.
Oh, exactly.
that's my response to that. So yeah, you can't say like we can't vote for Biden because we don't know what he's going to do for the black community. No, you vote for Biden because you know what Trump is going to do for the black community.
And then just how he like talks. He said, "I did so much for black people." Like,
Exactly.
bro,
Like so,
come on, man.
as a black person, you want 4 more years of that, and that's just the black people. I look at um, Mexican people, and when that whole thing happened at the border, all those kids separated from their mothers and their fathers, like that are in cages still to this day. Like I didn't watch it, but I remember seeing like the Republican convention when they gave those speeches, and they had like
Hmm.
4 black people give speeches. I'm like, as a black person, how can you speak for this man? Like, how can you be on this man's side? I just don't get it.
When he don't really care, he don't care about you.
Man,
I don't know, man.
we're
At the end of the day, my whole philosophy about life is just living with a good heart and
yeah.
accepting everybody and not judging nobody.
Oh, a
And
thousand
I
percent.
feel like, the world just needs more of that, and it'll be more simple.
But I know it ain't.
Evil, too much evil, too much evil.
Uh,
But you gotta meet your maker. I know everybody don't believe in God, but I
yeah,
do.
I do
You
too.
gonna you gonna believe you gonna have to settle your terms with him at the gates. So
It just gets old every time you leave the crib. You got to keep your head on a swivel.
man, it's ridiculous. And
Yeah,
all these older people that were part of those times in the 60s are Supreme Court and Congress, and even the whole thing with the stimulus check right now. Just look how they're handling the business like it's a joke to them. Like, people out here struggling, and
man.
y'all over here trying to see whose balls is bigger.
Yeah,
Like, it's just ridiculous to me at this point, bro.
it's like I just want to be able to leave my house and relax. Like I can't relax when I'm outside the house.
Exactly. Man, it's ridiculous.
It's just
Especially depending what party you're at, because like you think like LA, like that ain't even cops ain't even what you gotta deal with. Hopefully, this has been a situation where like the black on black stops, you know? Because
yes,
that's
we
the first thing. We gotta take it upon ourselves and be better
yes,
too, you know.
yes,
But it's how the world was built, bro. It's so much anger. You go to the nice neighborhoods and look at all these private schools and stuff, but okay, go to the projects and liquor stores and looks all crazy. Like,
crazy. Got people on the corner. Um,
man,
yeah, not
I was I was just listening to this dude's story. I guess he's I didn't listen to all of it, but they call him like a guru of the literacy, like financial literacy. And he's from Oakland, and he was just kind of telling his story. Like, obviously, mom was on drugs, dad in jail, and it's kind of like he was already defeated from the jump, you know.
right.
And what's the one thing he starts doing? Starts robbing and taking, and then ends up doing life in prison at 17 before his life even starts. And it's like a lot of people get start in the back of the line, you know,
Yeah,
because a lot of people of like say Caucasians, not saying all of them, but they already start at an advantage. One, you're
oh yeah,
white. One, just I just interviewed with this guy, Jeremy Ball, me and Ray Lynn, and he was even telling me he finally realized white privilege ain't being rich. It's just he's like, man, my life just been at ease,
jeez.
and he's just
Like you don't have the same worries as I do.
exactly. You don't got to tell your son be careful to drive to another state. You don't got to tell him. You don't tell him to put his hands on the steering wheel when a cop comes. And
But I mean,
um,
black people, like as shitty as a lot of these situations are for them, violence is not going to get you nowhere but jail, and it's going to give
Exactly.
you the perception that thugs, gangs, all that kind of stuff. That perception is going to continue. The one thing everybody has is a brain, and that's
Hmm.
what you really have to use to try to better your situation. Robbing and stealing, that's only going to lead you in jail or in a casket. Those are your main two options.
Exactly. And just think about they went to a good school, good elementary, good middle school. They're afforded these opportunities. We're like, all right, you get good grades in high school. Um, you can find this way. Sports shouldn't be the only way out, you know? And you think about it, and that's why it's kind of crazy because, like, I could probably speak for a lot of like blacks and um, all right, we want to make it to the league. We want to do. None of us are thinking about being judges and
Hell no.
cops, and all the people that are in authority positions are usually Caucasians.
Yeah,
So
they strive for those positions. You talk to a black person, their dream is athletics and something.
exactly. That was my dream. I ain't think about being no judge or going to Harvard. Like,
Right. Even the dreams are different, bro. Just
it's
based on
crazy, man.
reality. Shoot, black people, you're not surrounded by people who are doctors and lawyers and stuff. The main thing everybody got in common is let's go play some ball somewhere.
Exactly. Because that's just life for us, you know, and that
Really
makes
is.
it, that's our time. That's like, man,
You know what? That's our
yeah,
sanctuary.
yep. And being on the field from the court and just, yeah,
It's just it's life, like you said, it's life, and it's just we're at a tough spot right now.
but
And
man, hopefully it gets better. We'll see.
hoping so,
Starts
but
November 3rd. Starts
yeah,
November 3rd.
everybody, please get out there and vote. You have to vote to get this man out of office. Even if you don't
And
believe
it's,
Biden is the answer, I guarantee he'll be better than what we got.
but you know, it's not even just him, it's the local, the
Yeah,
city council,
councils, the
the
mayors,
mayors,
senators,
all of
judges.
that.
Yes.
Exactly. All that you can have. So
That's one
you
thing I
gotta,
want to really understand the power of voting. Like, yes, in November 3rd, we're deciding for the leader of our nation, but you said it right. It's not just him, the mayors, senators, judges, Supreme, like all these people, we have the power to put them in their seats, and we haven't been taking advantage of that. The people who
exactly.
put Trump in office, they took advantage of it.
Hmm. And
People
they're getting the,
There's people who want to see changes start November 3rd by getting this man out of office, and people who are against us. Put the people who are for us in those seats, and maybe we'll get some change in this world.
exactly. And you try to say your vote doesn't count. Look at the history behind voting. Look at the ways they try to dis um disregard you from voting. Like look at through the hoops they go through to get you not to vote. So yeah,
Right.
your vote does matter.
Exactly. Like, look how long it took before women had the right to vote.
Exactly.
You
And
know,
like I think of the situation in Georgia. I was reading this article and the uh the more predominantly black neighborhoods, the machines were all messed up. They had a long line and people were waiting like 2 hours. So some people left and didn't even register. Okay, and the lady, she decides to go to like the uppity neighborhood, the predominantly white neighborhood. She's watching these people go in and out. Boom, boom, boom.
that's how they do it, bro. Like, they making it hard for black people and people in rougher neighborhoods to vote because Trump knows the majority of those votes won't go for him. But the upscale neighborhoods, a lot of those votes will. So that's why
Exactly.
You said the system is rigged. You said it
So I'm not even gonna mail. I'm not even trusting to mail in my vote. I'm gonna actually just go.
right. Yeah, but people have got to vote. That's because if this man is elected for 4 more years, may God help us.
Yeah, it's gonna be scary times.
It's gonna be scary
He's
times.
he's
I'm
definitely a
leaving this damn country at one point.
he's definitely a dictator.
Hell yeah! But if we can get that man out, maybe that's a step in the right direction.
Facts.
Uh, well, Keith, I appreciate you taking time out your day joining me on this podcast.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, you came prepared, boy.
Hey, bro, I take this seriously, man.
Yeah, keep pushing with this for sure, bro. And I'm gonna do my part. Get it out there, help you. If you
Appreciate
ever
it.
need, I'm here. Ain't nothing but a text call away.
All
Appreciate you though.
right. We'll have you on anytime, G.
Yeah, facts.
Any last things you want to say?
Nah, bros. Appreciate you. Vote. Please vote. Please vote. Please vote. That's all I got to say.
With that one. Well, like I said, thank you joining in, and thank you for sharing your stories with us and your experiences and your thoughts behind what's going on in the world today.
Sounds good. I'll see you, Jay.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, man.
All right, big. All right, you too.
Yep. All right, everyone. Appreciate you joining in. This has been Untold Sports Stories with Gerard O'Byrne, and we will have more content out for you as quickly as possible. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel